A warm welcome to all our viewers to our series Natural Medicine today. We are talking to our health analyst from Mallorca, Peer Zebergs, about the topic of water and high-frequency technology, to what extent we can support our water with it, maybe also in terms of information. And we ourselves consist of water, and it is the most important food. So there are 100 different points of view where we can go into it. And I'm glad he's here today. Hello, dear Peer.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I am also very happy that you are here today before we had our interviews via Zoom. And what exactly are you doing in Mallorca?
I have a cell energy centre there and work with technologies that improve the energy status in humans, whether that's oxygen or whether these are therapies or whether that are Schumann 3D systems to bring people back into harmonic balance, back into balance. That also has to do with energy frequencies and information. And one of my favourite technologies is based on the inventions of Nikola Tesla. It's a cell tuner device, which is a high-frequency device with which you can optimise a lot, especially the most important food which simply exists of all, namely water.
Well, I can also say from my own experience that if I drink water, we have different options. Well, I just tried it out for myself with spinning. I simply took water from the tap and noticed that the water felt like it only stayed in the digestive tract and just gurgles there. And then I actually drank a hexagonal water and my body was really sweating and all the functions you just noticed. The body works better. Well, that's just my perception now. But how can you explain that? What are the things that happen in the water that when I exercise, I really have energy, work up a sweat, and the other feels like it's dehydrating me further and is not ingested at all?
The crucial point is, and a lot of people get this wrong, it's not about the quantity of water you're drinking, but the quality. And the original drinking water, which our organism knows from evolution, was hexagonal, period. Unfortunately, this is no longer a topic today, or rather it has to be managed. That it becomes an issue again, it should go without saying, because now I have drinking water that comes out of the tap. It was pumped for at least 100 metres in a pipe. This definitely makes it unstructured. The second point, probably, and the probability is extremely high, is that it is still loaded with too many foreign substances. We basically speak of the biochemical purity of ppm, which means a maximum of 40 foreign particles in relation to 1 million water molecules. It would be good, maybe even less would be better. But now we're here in a showcase country, Switzerland, where they say mountains, nature, everything is great. And then they took 400 water samples, and the best drinking water you had was 70 parts per million. That was now about the biochemical purity. We haven't said anything about the structure yet. Whenever it's pumped for more than 100 metres, it's unstructured and dead. Then it's no longer cell available. So I have to have biochemically pure water that is also available to the cells. Now, I can basically drink bad water. I can drink a few litres, as you say, it just goes through the digestive tract, doesn't go into the cells at all. It's therefore completely unsuitable as a solvent for the transport of nutrients. So in Mallorca, the water problem is completely different than here. Many probably don't know this. There is a royal decree whose actually contrary to law, the water that comes out of the tap in Mallorca doesn't have to be of drinking water quality. This is domestic water. You can still use it for dishwashing, but you can't use it for drinking. You have to purify it first. And if I have this unpurified water, I have no cellular availability. I can drink as much as I want, nothing will happen. So I need water which is suitable as a solvent. It's suitable as a means of transport to get the nutrients to where they need to go, namely into the cells. And only with good water, I also have the appropriate positive flow rates of all body fluids. Let's start with the blood. When people have high blood pressure, the flow rate may just not be right so that the red blood cells stick and clump together. I need a good flow rate there. Only when I have a good flow rate, I also have optimal oxygen supply. This is again possible with hexagonal water. So there's one point after the other. There are 20 points where I can say, OK, the quality of the water is the point. And if the water isn't hexagonal, it's of inferior quality. It must be hexagonally structured. You can structure it. There are water swirlers and many things, like crystal stones. I would say these are all good measures, better than none, but I'd have to say that I get a hexagonal structure, even in the deepest levels of the water, that is also stable. And with the devices I work with, if it's not overheated, the water will simply have a stable hexagonal structure for 7 to 10 days.
Yes, it just reminds you of nature again. I mean, we used to really drank the water from the stream or the spring, and the streams aren't exactly straight either, but arranged in curves.
Above all, the swirling is crucial. Then when the water came from the spring, it was always exposed to sun's rays, and then there are also stones, and you got some minerals from there. And the photons, they also help a lot, that is from the sun's energy. And the topic of hexagonal water didn't come up until the 1960s. That's when the research started, in a high mountain valley in Pakistan called Hunza. And then the researchers, or the people, simply noticed that the people who lived there can easily live to be over 100 years old, many 120 years, with the highest vitality. And then they checked, what is there? They've mountain air, a meagre life, nobody walked around overweight there. But that was not the point. The point was the water is as healthy as possible, high energy, hexagonally structured. And that has led to people having such high vitality. And it wasn't until 1969 that it was really possible. And then it was realised that this water has the H2O biochemical formula, but that the water forms ring structures from the molecules, hexagons. And these hexagons aren't just single molecules. They connect back to the hexagons next to them. They then form whole layers of it. And now there's so many positive properties that make these hexagonal structures that it's hard to believe that it is not in the discussion at all. For example, these hexagonal layers of water are always negatively charged in the human body. What are they doing? They neutralise the acid-forming H3O plus charged ions. So I have a buffering regarding over-acidification. Over 80% of people in Europe are acidic. So there I have a solution. Then I have endless free radicals. Then the hexagonal water has the special feature, Patrick Flanagan realised this, in these hexagonal structures the atoms can share the electrons. Then I have delocalized free electrons available in huge quantities, which then form entire plasmas. And these plasmas neutralize free radicals billions of times over. One of the two main reasons for premature aging and disease. And there is even a scientific study about the fact that exposure to the high-frequency device is significantly reducing the number of endogenous free radicals. So the free radicals in the body. All of that is no longer esoteric. You can measure and see everything today, and also need the hexagonal structures, not only extracellularly in all bodily fluids, so lymph, liquor, blood and so on, but also intracellular. And 60% of the water we have in the body is intracellular, which makes up the cytoplasm. And the cytoplasm, when it's acidic, it's really bad. Then the cell membrane tension changes. You also need that. It is also very important. And then the function of the mitochondria changes, our energy centers, which are then weakened. The proteins and enzymes cannot develop if they are overly acidic, or so I need the hexagonal structures there, which neutralize acidification.
Super interesting. I've been mentally in the woods the whole time. You mentioned the feet. Is it possible that if I put my feet in stream water, then I support a kind of detoxification? So that everything I would do in the forest, hexagonal structure in water connection, free electrons, but can't do, I just imitate with the device. And I came up with it because I heard that we can also detoxify through the feet.
Of course, there are also those patches that become completely black, for example. And the feet are also quite interesting. Namely, the feet have more nerve endings per square centimetre of skin area than any other part of the body. We don't need it there for the balance. That's for a completely different reason. We take in the free electrons or the negatively charged energy on the Earth's surface with our feet. Ideally, we absorb them by walking barefoot. That's why walking barefoot is special. It's also called earthing. And I work with a technology. These are Schumann 3D frequencies that can simulate exactly that. And although there is a crystal plate on it, there is a negatively charged energy field stored on it. And I put people on it barefoot and then they can absorb it. And with water, it gets even stronger. If I irradiate the water beforehand, I can do it with a test tube, for example. The antennas don't come into direct contact with the water from the devices. Then I can structure it hexagonally. And then I optimize the detoxification measures again, because hexagonal water has another peculiarity. Those hexagonal layers of water that are forming have, according to Gerald Pollack, who found this out, an exclusion zone character. That means in these hexagonal water layers, although they are negatively charged, positively charged pathogens cannot reside. It's strange. They would have to be attracted. However, this crystalline-like structure of this hexagonal water, which is very stable, does not allow pathogens. So viruses, bacteria, other foreign substances, spores, worms, fungi and so on, to settle there, no molecules and no atoms either. They are pushed to the side and derived from the positively charged surface water. That's a really great story, so to speak. Maximum purification, detoxification, and of course, it helps if you do the same with your feet in the water.
I had the same thing with walking barefoot recently. I was very highly motivated. I heard a lecture again, however, I stepped into dog shit first. And then I walked across the field and thought, oh God, what did they spray here? What am I walking on now? And in the end, when I got home, I thought, did I actually do something good for myself? Did I just walk barefoot through nature? With all the pesticides?
That's a good question.
That was really difficult for me.
I'll put it this way. I'm not a big fan of politics. We took a wrong turn 20 or 25 years ago. I just can't figure out how. For example, a herbicide like Roundup, where glyphosate is the main ingredient, was allowed. This was the defoliant used in the Vietnam War. It destroys the soil microbiome. It destroys the plant's immune system. And it destroys our immune system. And what's more, it's carcinogenic. Well, hello? A few years ago, we approved this again throughout the EU. How could we? And now we've been spreading 100 million tons of glyphosate around the world every year for years. I'm sorry, politicians have to stop that. Such crap. But they don't even know what they're doing. So I have to say, total failure. You just have to be careful where you go. In the past, you didn't have to worry about that. When I was a little kid, 40 or 50 years ago, you just ran around barefoot, period. You have to think about it today. And also, for example, in the sandpit in the kindergarten, what's in there? Did anyone go there and spray some crap? Otherwise, walking barefoot would be one of the most important things you could do. You could take for your health, but you have to be careful. It shouldn't be contaminated soil.
Yes, it's a challenge now, if you want to get back to nature. When it comes to water, of course you have to think about the creeks are full of all the drug residues and so on. I mean, in Hamburg, you will even get some coke from there.
You get a lot of hormones, antibiotics, unfortunately, glyphosate. But we also get more and more aluminium, chlorides, fluorides, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, so a full program free of charge, and a topic that is actually overwhelming. But I don't think there's almost anything you can do about these plastic nanoparticles. And when you discuss the topic, you always see some kind of plastic bottle in the film clips. Sorry, this is stupid. Where do the plastic nanoparticles really come from? From washing synthetic fibres. And these nanoplastic particles are not filtered out in sewage treatment plants either. They're simply too small. They get in everywhere. There was an article in Spiegel magazine 2 or 3 years ago that 97% of children are contaminated with nanoplastic particles. The truth is 100%.
We eat one plastic check card a week.
Something should be done at some point. But politics is responsible for that. Industry can, of course, also help, but actually politics is responsible because they have a vow, especially the ministers, to keep people from harm.
From the self-responsible idea of creation, I could also imagine that things are coming to a head now, that everyone takes personal responsibility.
You have to, anyway. You are responsible for yourself. The state is not responsible for my health, but it would have to keep the interference away if I have health.
But maybe for your illness.
I'm already responsible for my own health. Exercise, some right nutrition and right thinking. But that must not be overburdened by just creating panic and fear. And those are also handicaps, by the way. Negative thoughts are also absorbed by the water. Water is so highly sensitive that it can pick up all sorts of electromagnetic waves and signals. That also includes thoughts. And they're then played into the cells via the water or received directly by the cells. But water can store over 3,000 different pieces of information. There are 400,000 tiny canals in there, in those hexagonal structures, where water has a memory. Water can really remember. Water is also a means of communication, and water is the most important food of all. We're made up of 99 out of 100 molecules of water, and water is involved in 98% of all metabolic processes. So how stupid do I have to be to put bad water into my body, when I know that 98% of all metabolic processes are dependent on whether they are going well or badly? When people are sick, the first thing I have to look at is what is the water quality in those people?
Let's say I'm cleaning the water now and hexagonal structures are there. So all the information is erased, and the highest vibration is love, isn't it?
Well, let's put it this way. There are other vibrations too, but love is associated with 639 hertz.
If I now inform the water with it, then there is also the possibility of writing love on it, putting it on it.
That works too. Everything has its own vibration, indicates frequencies. And we can take in frequencies. This is also the problem of electric smog. We can absorb these frequencies. We have antennae for them, but we cannot decode them. That's why I have to make sure that I will have vital frequencies everywhere. So even in the electromagnetic field, I have harmful frequencies, I have neutral frequencies, and I have vital frequencies. And with the devices I work with, we only work with vital frequencies that are known to have a very positive effect on all body systems, on the cellular units, that they contain native control element, that they contain such a love frequency, or 432 hertz, the natural frequency of the heart, or the Schumann frequency, or 144 hertz is the code of the divine order, or all the frequencies that you know. From Fibonacci, who discovered the magical spiral of numbers, decoding of nature, so to speak, we've actually known that for a few hundred years, but today we have the technical possibilities to get these vital frequencies and information into the body. And I have the appropriate technical requirements, and I really like using it in my centre. Should I?
Yes, please, show me.
And the highlight of this antenna, which is high-frequency energy, according to Nikola Tesla, is that you can also transmit pure electrical energy wirelessly here. And the fluorescent light will then start to glow, the gas must get informed a bit, and on that carrier frequency is a scalar wave, developed or discovered by Nikola Tesla, and with this scalar wave, I can modulate all possible vital frequencies onto it, which has also been done here. And these frequencies then come into the cells, come into the mitochondria. There you have in-phase frequencies for the mitochondria to give them more energy.
I think you divert it with your fingers.
That can be.
You just had your fingers on the antenna too.
That's the way it is. If I put water next to it, the fluorescent tube never lights up because the water absorbs all the energy. But here this is now. Here we go. Well, let's just leave it there for a bit.
Now.
Demonstration effect.
It's fascinating. When you simply notice that you're actually not necessarily dependent on a socket.
At the back, I still need energy. But it's a conversion so the body can understand it. In orthomolecular medicine, it is like that. They say for the body, please use molecules that the organism knows. And here we say, please only use frequencies that the organism knows as positive vital frequencies. And that's what we do there. But the body can recognise that.
And do we have these frequencies in nature?
Oh yeah, we have them all in nature. The photons play a huge role as solar energy. It's also said that humans only get 25% of their energy from food. 75% are cosmic rays, solar radiation, the Earth's magnetic field, all that stuff. So 75% of the energy comes from somewhere else. These are all natural signals, and the body's tuned in and has the antenna for them.
Great. Thank you so much for being back today, getting us involved in all of the high-frequency technology and water and how it all connects. If people want to get deeper into it, what are the sources?
I go to the quantisana.ch website. There are a lot of videos and documents stored there.
Great. Thank you for being here today, and I hope to see you soon.
You're welcome, thank you.
Dear viewers, if you want to delve further into the subject of water, feel free to go to our website, QS24.tv. We have a lot of interviews on radio frequency, water, and there you will surely get some more information. Thank you for watching, have a wonderful time, and see you soon. Bye.